What's going on, you lot? What are you all saying? So today I'm going to talk a little bit about a subject that ain't really spoke about on YouTube that much, and I definitely feel like it is underrepresented when it comes to solo filmmakers, solo creators in general. And that is, how the hell do you think about a number to charge when you're doing video work? Now, there's tons and tons of different ways that you can actually charge to make videos nowadays. But I thought, you know what, if I give you my experience, what's happened to me and how I've charged throughout my short career over like the last 8 years of being in the video production world, hopefully that'll give some of you lot a little bit of an idea on how you could potentially charge your clients. Now, to be completely honest with you lot, I've never really had like an actual strategy when it comes to charging, and I've only really thought about this when I was like preparing to make this bloody video. I just thought, you know what, let me take you through exactly how I done it, and then it might give you an idea of the best way for you to do it. And by the way, this is the first camera that I ever charged someone to make a video on. This is the Canon 550D, but I went and got the Chinese version, the Kiss X4. Still a mad good, well, it ain't really, but it is still a pretty decent camera. It does 1080p, and yeah, the colors are pretty nice because it's Canon. But anyway, that was the very first camera that I ever charged on, and I think the amount that I got charged for my first ever video was like 360 quid. So like, I'm not gonna lie, that ain't even bad for your first video. I've seen loads and loads of videos online about how to charge as kind of a larger production company, but I know that a lot of my viewers and a lot of people out there nowadays are solo videographers. You're solo filmmakers. You're out there making videos for like smaller businesses, and you're not going to be charging like 15 bags, 20 grand, 50 grand just as a solo filmmaker with a smaller DSLR, A7S, whatever you want to do. I know that 99.9% of you lot ain't running around with Reds and Alexas and stuff like that. So I know that you lot are shooting on small DSLRs. You've got like a selection of lenses, you've got your gimbals, you've got your small lighting setup, and you're just going out solely shooting on your own. So there are many different ways to actually charge for a client shoot. You've obviously got things like charging for the entire project, you've got hourly rates, and you've got like day rates, right? Now, when I very first started, I actually went on like a project basis. I was so new to the whole idea of making videos to people. I did not have a clue how much to charge people when I very first started. Luckily for me, a few people would actually see my videos on things like Facebook and MySpace at the time, and then they'd actually approach me and say, right, James, I want you to do a video for my business or whatever. And then that's when it got to the point where I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to give him a rate here. I'm gonna have to tell him how much it's gonna cost. And I used to just pick numbers out of the air. Like, I did not have a clue how much to charge people. I was like 17, 18 years old, and I was throwing numbers out like 200 quid, 250 quid. And obviously that is massively cheap. But I'm not gonna lie, I think that's probably about how much I was actually worth at the time. I was not good at what I'd done, but people were still willing to pay me to do what I'd done. Now, after a while of getting quite a few of these shoots in, I thought to myself, right, I actually need like a little bit of a structure here. So I completely threw out of the window an hourly rate, because I personally don't think hourly rates are good for anyone, mate. If you're in the video or any kind of freelance industry, you could put an hourly rate on something, but you know that you're always gonna go over. There's no chance you're gonna stick to an hourly rate that you've given a client before you've even gone into the pre-production, the actual production of the shoot. It's gonna go over, mate. It happens with me still with like day rates. So that nicely brings me on to day rates. So I actually charge on a daily basis. So my time, including a day, costs X amount of money. And that's how I done it very first at the start. So after I kind of got the momentum, started getting a few clients in, I then decided, right, I need to actually come up with an amount that I can charge people when they say to me, how much does it cost to make a video? Now, obviously, it's not that easy just to pick a number out of the air and say, right, your video is going to cost this much. You've got loads of different elements in there, like, are you going to hire any more crew? Are you going to need any more gear? Locations? Have you got to travel? All of these different expenses, but I'm going to leave all of the expenses on the side for the time being, because I know that you lot just want to know how much you are charging for your time and for what you do. So for example, I met loads of different people in the industry that were already there because I was in their DMs, I was messaging them like, right, can I come and shadow you? anything can I do for you just to get on set with you, have a chat with you and do what you do. Yes, I was doing tons and tons of free work right at the start. And I'm not gonna lie, I think everyone probably should do it. It teaches you to actually appreciate the craft and put your time in to then go up to the point where you're good enough to charge for it, right? So after kind of talking to some other people and finding out their day rates, I then came up with my day rate. And let's be honest, I was only 17 years old. It's not like I'm 25 like I am now. Didn't have tons of bills to pay and stuff like that. So I was essentially charging £180 per day. Now, £180 when you're 17 years old sounded like a pretty decent amount of money. I was thinking, here we go, mate. If anyone takes this, I'm absolutely cashing in, mate, and I'm buying myself a Mars bar or something. So anyway, I had my day rate of £180, and I basically based that off of what I was hearing from other people. So if I knew someone who had been doing it for 5-10 years and they were charging like £500 a day with a similar kit to me, I thought, right, I'm only 17. This is how much they're charging. Let's come up with 180 quid. It's a little bit under 200, so when people hear it, it ain't so bad. So let's talk, for example, a day shoot. We're shooting for one day, shooting a small commercial inside the small business. Let's take a business, for example. Let's say we've got a bakery down the road, yeah? And they're like, right, James, we want you to make a video for our bakery. We want people to see the kind of stuff that we do in here, what kind of food that we offer. Bakery is such a weird one. I don't know why I picked a bakery. I want them to see what kind of stuff we make here. I want them to learn about us, how we're a family business and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, mate, no problem. I'll do it. Little did I know that when I make videos like this, I do like to put in a bit of pre-production. So I've got the time to meet the client. I've got to go and talk to them. I've got to then plan what I'm going to do for their shoot. I've got to prep all of my gear. And this is stuff that you've got to do all before the shoot day even starts, mate. So at the time, I was not charging for my pre-production time, and you should be doing that. But when I was that young, I didn't really think about it too much. I was like, right, I've just got to do this. I've done the day, but I didn't even think about what I had to do in the pre-production planning. But anyway, now I do charge for pre-production planning. I'd go in there, do the day shoot, and then I'd probably be editing for 2 days later. And I'd end up charging 3 days. Sometimes I'd charge like 2.5 days. Just because I got a bit nervous and I was like, oh, I don't know what the client's going to say here when I tell them that I've had 3 entire days and it's going to cost them 180 times 3. I didn't know what the client was going to say when I told them that their video is going to cost them 340 quid. Now, that is absolutely peanuts, mate. So anyway, I was charging 180 quid a day for my day rate. And it literally got to the point where I couldn't take on any more work. All of a sudden, I had so many people coming to me for work to the point where I was turning people down. I was thinking, hold your horses, mate. I'm having to say no to people here. And this was pretty much by the time I was like 21 years old. I decided that every single time I got to a point where I couldn't take on any more work, I'd up my day rate. Now, my first increase of rate went from 180 quid to 280 quid a day. Now, I know it's only 100 quid jump, but at the same time, I was improving my gear, improving my setup, and the quality of the videos were getting a lot better. So therefore, I had to increase the rate. Now, it makes complete sense, right? As the service is getting better, you're charging more. Now, that's the way that I kind of looked at it at the time. As you can probably imagine, exact same thing happened again. I got well too many clients come to me at 280 quid, and then I had to jump it up again. The next time I jumped it up, it went up to £360 a day. Now, £360 a day is catching on to kind of a proper industry rate. It's not quite there yet, but it's getting relatively close. So I felt really, really good about charging 360 quid a day when I was about like 21, 22, 23 years old, like in that kind of age bracket. So yep, as you can imagine, £360 day rate got to the point where I couldn't take on any more work. And then I had to increase it again and then increase it again, and so on and so forth. And then naturally, you're going to get to a point where your prices are at the right amount to the point where you only get offers from certain people. And now this is where the actual hustle starts to slow down and you can just focus on doing great work. As your price increases to a certain amount and your actual quality of your service gets to that point as well. Now, they're only attracting companies that have actually got budget, that actually respect the video process, respect the whole point of making a video that is going to benefit their business or benefits one of their clients. That's a really, really good position to be in, because you kind of filter out all of the people that want kind of the lower budget stuff, the lower end stuff, and you do just focus on your clients that appreciate you and they respect what you do. Now, when I work with a lot of my clients now, they'll call me up and they'll say, right, we've got a job to do. This is the plan with it, whatever. And we don't even talk about budgets because they know how much I charge. They respect what I do. They know kind of the ballpark figure of how much it's going to cost because we've worked together so many times. And that is a really, really nice dynamic to be in. And man, it just feels great when it works like that. I think it's so important to build them relationships between the clients that actually care and respect you and what you do compared to the clients that really just want to get a cheap video out of you. You'd much rather build that relationship with them because it's going to be a long-lasting relationship that actually benefits both parties. Pre the whole like social media revolution, people would be charging so much more for video production. Now video production has massively been diluted, mainly with the fact that production is so highly consumed nowadays. Everyone is just consuming content. Therefore, it's needed a lot more and by a lot more people. So it's bringing in a whole new demographic of smaller filmmakers. A lot of companies now are literally just buying like a decent iPhone, shooting their content for their company on an iPhone and posting it. So therefore, it completely eliminates the need for a video production professional to do the work for them. So now you can see why back in the day people would have been charging like 15 grand for a shoot, whereas nowadays people are probably charging like 2 grand for a shoot. So yeah, it's not ideal, but end of the day, you can't be moaning about how it used to be. You've just got to work with what's going on now, do good work, and eventually people will actually pay for that good work. Anyway, people, I really hope that you got a little something out of that. That is just a little backstory on how I charged clients and got to the point where I am now. I'm going to be completely honest, I winged the entire bloody thing, but it seemed to have worked out, so happy days. So if any of you are new to filmmaking, you're a young videographer, young filmmaker, and you're trying to get into this industry, please do not be discouraged by a load of people wanting stuff off of you for free, because that is going to happen, mate. That happened to me all the time. So yeah, just to end off that message, I do want to let people know, do not be discouraged. If you're a small filmmaker, up and coming, trying to do something in this industry, trying to actually make a living out of it, you'll get there. If you've got it about you, if you've got it in you, you'll do it, mate. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Anyway, people, I'm going to wrap this one up now. I just thought that this topic was massively underrepresented in the industry now, especially on YouTube. Everyone's trying to come up and make videos for people and actually try and make a living out of it. So I thought, you know what, I'd give you my experience with how I charged people, and it might be a way that you can adopt. It might not be, I don't know. But hopefully it'll give you a little idea on how you can potentially go into starting to charge for videos. Anyway, people, I'll be catching you in the next one, mate. Someone's belling me. Anyway, people, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll be catching you in the next one. Peace.